Alrighty guys, we're back for Selesnya Aggro, and this is an Edge of Eternities standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, this was a patron suggestion, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. We have all four Ornery Tumblewags. 3 mana 2/2 saddle for 2. When it attacks while saddled, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. Nice. Also on this card, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Actually, a pretty decent card. We have a couple Terrasymbiosis, 3 mana enchantment. Whenever you put one or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Do this only once each turn. That could be a chunk of card draw. We also have a couple Ouroboroids here on the top end, 4 mana, 1/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, where X is this creature's power. Nice. We have all four Drix Fatemaker, 4 mana, 3/2, but it does have a warp cost for just 1 and a green. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. Okay, so yeah, I like that this can come down early. You get a counter from it then it can come down as a late game creature too. You get another counter. Then really in here for that middle ability, making sure that our big old chunky creatures are actually trampling through. Not the only way to give trample in here though. We do have a couple Synchronized Charge. It's a 2 mana sorcery. It does have Harmonize for 4 and a green, which honestly comes in handy way more often than you would think. Distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures you control. Creatures you control with counters on them gain vigilance and trample until end of turn. Nice. How about some removal? Yeah, we got 4 Sheltered by Ghosts. Should be pretty good in here. We got a couple Reluctant Role Models fitting the counter theme nicely, and also fitting the small mount theme nicely too with that survival ability. We have a Bulwark Ox in here. We have all 4 District Mascots, 1 green mana 0/0, but it enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. Has that middle ability that could help us against like synthesizer builds. It saddles for 1, and when it attacks while saddled, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah, not half bad. And we have all 4 Pawpatch Recruit just being an excellent creature fitting the +1/+1 counter theme. And don't worry, the opponents know how to target our creatures, huh? Speaking of targeting our creatures, we have some pretty good protection with all 4 Snakeskin Veil, and we even have a Defend the Rider in here. More protection with 3 Zack Fairs, also fitting that +1/+1 counter theme really nicely. Enters with that +1/+1 counter, and then for just 1 mana, you can sacrifice it. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. You put Zack's counters on that creature and attach an equipment that was attached to Zack to that creature as well. I keep bringing it up, but it is criminally underplayed. All right, how about the mana base? So it's pretty hard out here for Selesnya aggro mana bases, but we still have Starting Town helping us out in that early game, and Hushwood Verge making the cut too. Should power up to Selesnya land relatively easy in here. We got 12 total basics, even a couple Fabled Passages, helping us mana fix and also power up that Verge. We also have a 1 of Restless Prairie, which should be fine and dandy in here. Some honorable mentions, guys. Soul Cauldron could be pretty decent in here. And then in the original build, Inspiring Call, this could be an excellent budget trade-in, or just an excellent trade-in in general, honestly, something to keep your eye on. And then Surak was also in the original list. This is also just more card draw that could be pretty good for this build. The only card draw we have packed in is a couple Terrasymbiosis, so yep, keep your eye on it. All right, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I'm expecting a little bit here, guys. The last time I played a Selesnya aggro build, I said something similar where if anything holds us up, it's going to be the mana base. But this looks pretty good. Not a whole lot going on early, and the opponent goes first, which is pretty scary. So yeah, I'm going to keep this. Guys, I don't hear the game. I'm going to pause the recording real quick and fix that. Okay, that was my bad, guys. We should have sound now. Okay, Saz's Chocobo, terrible news, but wow, good draw with the Pawpatch Recruit. Go ahead and get that down. Starting town can come down next turn. Don't want to take any more damage than necessary. Another Saz's Chocobo and... Okay, just a forest this turn. Oh my goodness, 3 Saz's Chocobo. Okay, if there's any game where we need to see every Sheltered by Ghost off the top, now's the time. We're in danger, dude. Synchronized Charge could get a good swing with the Pawpatch Recruit. The Fatemaker does not give us the swing. Yeah, Synchronized Charge gives us the swing and gives us a potential blocker. It's a good draw. We're like, we drew really well for the first 2 turns here. Yeah, the Vigilance on that giving us a potential blocker. Let's see if they have that. No, it's still just another forest. Thank goodness, dude. But let's see if it's a Spring Bloom. Oh. Crap. Okay, we're in danger, dude. We're in a lot of danger. We can still block this one and trade into it. They might as well full swing. They might as well. No, they don't accept that trade. All right, we're just going to take the 8. These, oh, Sheltered by Ghosts. Oh my goodness. Seriously, we're drawing so well. But the triple Saz's Chocobo is pretty brutal. And also, by keeping this 3-4 back, we don't really have a great swing. What? But, yeah, well, there's no doubt in my mind we got to do the Sheltered by Ghosts, right? Yep, we're at 12 right now. Last card in hand could be like another Spring Bloom or something else that drops a couple land. Or they could top deck a Fabled Passage and do the same turn. With 3 Saz's Chocobo, it's a little bit too hard. I still no great blocks. Might have to accept a trade. We'll at least gain the 5, hopefully. I'd love to play the Synchronized Charge, but we'd have to tap down the Recruit, which we really don't want to do. That's probably a good trade for them regardless. I think it's better to keep the blocker open because they trade here and then they get the 0-1 back, which then could attack next turn after playing a bunch of stuff anyways. Okay, we still can trade into the 4-5. Do we want to take 9, go for the swing next turn? Or do we want to trade? Since it's not lethal damage, we might as well go for the risky play. Go down to 3, try to gain as much as possible next turn. So, I suppose the Tumblewagg. Their creatures don't have trample right now. Tumblewagg isn't terrible. If they find mana off the top, to chump here, 6 here. They find mana off the top. The chump into the Chocobo should keep us alive regardless. I think we're okay. I think. Looks like they're going to chump too. No, they're going to go down to 10. We go back up to 9. Let's see that top deck from the opponent. Because, yeah, they had no cards in hand. Oh, holy cow, dude. Spring Bloom Druid off the top's really good, but like I said, we still have the chumps. The Saz's Chocobo goes up to 6, the one that's getting through. So they got 8 here. So forced to chump there. That's pretty good for the opponent. Because they still got a chump blocker here, so even if we found a way to get this Recruit through... What's their top deck going to look like next turn? We could get District Mascot down as the chump blocker. Give me 1 second, opponent. I want to think this through thoroughly. If we found more mana this game, it would have been pretty sick to warp out the Fate and then use the Fatemaker for the Synchronized Charge ability. But we just don't. We only have 3 mana this whole game. Yeah, that would have been really good. The trample can get through if we save it as a blocker. I guess they didn't have the chump block last turn. I don't know what I was thinking there. Yeah, we have trample. I'm going to use this one timer, guys. Make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, no matter what, we'll have to chump. Even if we find mana next turn, if we survive. 7. No, they got 9 on the board regardless. So I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll do the fun thing. Oh, I don't want to take that extra damage, though. Okay, I guess it'll be Tumblewagg then, again, right? Pretty good draw with that Spring Bloom Druid. I guess we could survive one more turn with some blocks. Jump there, maybe a trade if they miss. If they miss. Either way, we'll be forced into a block. If they hit a land, then we're in danger. I guess with 9 squeezing through regardless. You know what? I'll save the block because maybe that changes their swing significantly. And maybe surviving one more turn gives us more open possibilities. Okay, so we can chump here. We can trade here. They'll get the 0-1 back. I wonder what's on top. 0-1 Sass's Chocobo returns. We're at 5. It pretty much, I bet any hit would be pretty good for them. They got 6 mana over there, and even if they just top deck land, it's still pretty good. Traveling Chocobo, let's see what they see on top. Yep, they find a forest. Okay. Okay. Sheltered by Ghost, number 2. That would have been really good. Oh, man. It's still really good, but... yeah, I'd say this could have gone either way. How do you guys feel? We can't say we got lucky or unlucky in this one because, like, it does feel a little lucky that they missed the Tifa and the other trampling creatures, but then also they still hit a lot of the other goodies too. The Sheltered by Ghost, the only reason we're alive. That happens a lot. Hey, there's the Tifa. Snakeskin Veil, wow. 3 mana in the top 14 cards. Feels pretty bad, actually. Alright. We don't really have a way to survive next turn, so let's just establish the Terrasymbiosis and drop the opponent the GG, huh? Hopefully I played that one out for you guys well, because we had some tough decisions with just the 3 mana. And then tough decisions between Fun Swing or Survival. I chose Survival that time, but it didn't really matter. I probably should have just taken the Fun Swing. That's my favorite thing, right? That's attacking in with creatures. At that point in the game, too, when you're pretty sure you're going to lose, you might as well do whatever you're happy with. Whatever's going to be the most fun. I don't know. I think the Survival, it could have worked out, especially once we found the second Sheltered by Ghosts. If we would have found that a couple turns sooner. We do not have turn 1 Zack. Any mana off the top would be pretty good. Even if it's more green sources, we still kind of have a curve here. We're going to test the deck list to its absolute limits, guys. Let's go ahead and keep this, see what we can see. Plenty of ways to get a white source onto this table, and if we don't for 4 turns, we still have something to do. So any mana off the top would be good. By the way, guys, I think we got like 23 mana in here. We'll have to double check again. Okay, Snakeskin Veil's pretty good. I don't think this is a 24 mana deck list. I think this is a 23 mana deck list, so we'll see if I agree with myself. Somewhere in the middle of the video, too. Let's see that mana off the top. Mana off the top into Tumblewagg would be huge for us. Oh, hey, Sultai. That's something we don't see very often. Hey, mana off the top. Yes. Not a white source yet, but it's like I said, it's fine. Get a good swing. Tumblewagg has a huge target on its back, so I don't think it survives the turn, but we can't really risk waiting. Oh, Tumblewagg survives the turn. Wow. White source off the top, pick up the Fenrir, get a nice swing. Woohoo! Actually, Ouroboroid's much better here, huh? Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. We got the white source, though. We weren't punished at all. So what's really cool here... Well, we should okay. Swing wide or saddle up with the recruit. We can't get the Tumblewagg above... No, we can. We can get it to a 4/4. Okay. Right. Saddle up is pretty good then, right? I think so. We want the Tumblewagg ability first on the Ouroboroid. And we swing. And I guess double the Ouroboroid, even though we still think it's going to be removal. I guess. Yeah, maybe we should have doubled the Tumblewagg because the removal is definitely going to hit the Ouroboroid. But still, it just feels so much better to boost that. You know what I mean? Tough decisions. With 5 mana open, they go Fangkeeper here. It is indestructible, blocks really well. They pass it back. Guys, I can't believe it. Our creatures are alive. I can't believe it, man. Wow. Okay. And then we have Snakeskin Veil too, which is crazy business. Holy cow. Yeah, GG opponent. That's what the first game could have looked like, right? No, the first game, we were in danger. Triple Saz's Chocobo's crazy business. Yeah, even if we curved out like that properly, there's no guarantee versus mono green landfall. It's been a brutal, brutal deck list to go against. Keeping all of our creatures around for any opponent, no matter what deck list they're playing, like they need to see removal for some of these key pieces. Yeah, that was a good one. Terrasymbiosis. Okay. Yeah. Good. I like it. We'll start with District Mascot. And we can saddle it up next turn with the Pawpatch Recruit play. We won't have Snakeskin Veil open unless we see an untapped green source off the top. Which of course would be preferable, but we still can't complain that we have both colors that we need for the deck list. Gonna be a mountain. Get down! District Mascot, run! No! Why, mountain? Why? I'm not even blaming the burst lightning here. I'm blaming the mountain. Okay. Okay. Let's, of course, get the recruit down, right? And then have Snakeskin Veil open. It's something. Good draw. Oh, Sacred Foundry, they don't pay the 2. Gonna be Bolt Wave, alright. Some Boros Burn. Yeah, as soon as we tap out... Ooh, good draw. As soon as we tap out, the Pawpatch Recruit's gonna die, unfortunately. And Tumblewagg will have an even bigger target. Maybe we can successfully get Tumblewagg down. Probably not. I'd rather Terrasymbiosis, let the recruit get picked up by burn, and then try the Tumblewagg. Maybe they'll miss the burn. Probably not. Okay. I'll go Tumblewagg. It's more damage for the turn while they're tapped out. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what they got here, because when they target Tumblewagg, at least the recruit will get a little bit of a boost too. Finding mana off the top could be okay. We could establish Symbiosis while keeping the Veil open, but then not a whole lot of ways right now to get creatures, to get our creatures, what am I saying? To get counters onto our creatures. There we go. Anyways, a ton of things that we could draw into, though. Even a Synchronized Charge is a draw 2 after a Symbiosis hits the table, so... Unless you spread the counters wide. Our creatures survive. Double Snakeskin Veil in hand now. That is pretty good. We could try Symbiosis before combat, get some card draw, maybe see what we need to see, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. We probably try to boost the creatures above their burn. So I am going to saddle. It's less damage for the turn. But getting above 3s and then eventually 5 will be pretty good. Even when we miss with the Snakeskin Veil, for example, or even when we don't have it open. So we probably want to go all into Tumblewagg, because eventually maybe they could double down on Tumblewagg. If we go Snakeskin Veil number 1 out of hand, on the stack they'll try to pop it. Even though it'd be better to double the counter from the Veil too. Yeah, a lot of things to think about here, right? When they got 2 mana open, Lightning Strike is, or Lightning Helix is most likely. So we'll try Tumblewagg. Yeah, with 3 mana open, the best thing that they could have done was used their burn on their turn before we untapped, for sure. The opponent's thinking. They're probably wondering at what point do they actually want to try to play the burn, right? Or do they just want to hit face? Probably just face, depending on what their hand looks like. Now, yeah, the plan is to double the Tumblewagg. So it'll be a 4/4. Like I said, though, it would be nice to put the Veil counter on first. On the stack, we could play second Veil, but then there's no guarantee that they don't have, like, Get Lost in there as emergency. Alright, it's a 4/4. That should work for now. I think they are just going to go face. I'm not going to play Terrasymbiosis, unfortunately, guys. Yeah, we got to keep this board state around no matter what, and double Snakeskin Veil is crazy business. Boros Charm, nice. Down to 13. Could we die this turn? 4th mana, probably not. It would have to be a crazy turn. I don't even know what it would look like for 4 mana. Because even... And then they already played a Bolt Wave too. Okay, it's going to be a tapped 4th mana anyways. Yeah, that probably gives us... Oh, okay. GG opponent. Wow. I'll take it. I think that was leaning towards us thanks to the double Veil anyways. Yep, I totally think that. Not establishing Terrasymbiosis, though. There's definitely a reason I only got 2 of them in here rather than all 4. At the same time, not having a lot of card draw is a little bit sketchy. Alright. What you bringing to the table, buddy? They go first. This is a good hand. We still have a turn 1, but we can skip it because we have Veil, so we just get the Restless Prairie down. Yeah, we can try to actually save the Recruit then. Fabled Passage. Oh, guys, hey, while I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link, as well as the Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either those up or supporting the channel that way. I think I'm still going to hold off on the Recruit, even with the double. Because one of them can be a 3-drop too. Now also, guys, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing because it really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. Alright, 2nd mana, and Zack is really good. River Churn tells us all we need to know, right? This is either the Dimir Mill or the Esper Control Mill, which both are very scary. Both control decks, I suppose. A double Pawpatch Recruit on turn 2 is pretty good, because if they target one, still get a boost. I guess it's a similar concept with the Zack, too. Keeping the Veil open might not be the best answer here. Yeah, let's double down on Pawpatch Recruit, since we have a turn 3 in hand anyways. We don't have a turn 3 because Fabled Passage will be tapped, but if we see an untapped source... I guess I meant a 3-drop, right? Terrasymbiosis. This might actually be a great game to get this onto the board. So Sheltered by Ghost can pick up the Monument before they exhaust it. They still got a few turns before they want to do that anyways. Probably start with the swing. See if we can get 4 through. Hopefully we can still be aggressive enough, even though we didn't go first here. At 4 mana, without white sources on the board, it's pretty unlikely that they'll have a board wipe right now. Looks like they're going to go for the mill on the Monument. See what's on top. No mana! I would have loved to see that. Okay. Shoot the Sheriff onto the Pawpatch Recruit. We can double down onto the Zack, I suppose, right? It's pretty good. Actually, we could Snakeskin Veil. We could, but then we won't have it open for next turn. I'm going to keep it open for next turn, let the Recruit die, I suppose. I don't know. That's a tough decision. We just don't know what their turn 4 looks like. Protecting a creature that could just die anyways could be terrible. Nah, I'll protect it, yeah. Like I said, very unlikely turn 4 board wipe without white sources on their side. Like, we just never see that. So, I think we're safe. If they target again, we still have double Recruit and everything. Stacking the rest of the creatures. They do got that Bitter Triumph. Probably spread this out this time since we don't have Zack's ability open. Right? Spread out the counters, because if they have another one in hand... Okay, yeah. Still a great board state. 7 damage on this board state right now. Go grab that Plains, probably. Sheltered by Ghost, seemingly not doing too much. We draw the second Terrasymbiosis again, which honestly isn't that great. I don't like anything in hand because keeping Zack's ability open is probably a little bit better. Swinging for 7. Yeah, at 5 mana, that's when the board wipes start. So I guess we can establish Terrasymbiosis, but yeah, not keeping the Zack open super sketchy. Maybe we could just play Sheltered by Ghost for the turn. Pick up the Monument. Get 1 extra swing through. I'm sorry, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. Yeah, missing that 4th mana off the mill is rough. Yeah, Zack protects against Deadly Cover-Up, huh? I'm going to go for the Sheltered by Ghost because I don't think that there's going to be a better target here. I think taking the Monument is the best target versus mill. Ooh, Divert Disaster. Nice. Okay. Yep, well, we still have Zack's ability open, thank goodness. Now, that would have been 8 damage going through, putting them on a potential 2-turn clock, but we'll see. 5th mana untapped and a Deadly Cover-Up. We could pop the Zack, put Zack's counters onto the Recruit, and still have 7 going through. Looks like they don't have their 5th mana, which is huge news for us, guys. Snakeskin Veil is pretty good. I think we just keep that open, and unfortunately, our 3-drop's just not doing anything. They do have Fountain Port Fishy. They can chump the Zack with the Fishy. But the trample on the Recruit is very good. Okay, with Veil open and Zack open, I think the opponent is really stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. GG opponent. Wow. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, guys. All right. Very good. Feels great so far, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm having a good time with this for sure. We're 30 minutes in. Let's see if we can get one more, and let's see if we can end on that high note too. I think we can easily. Even if we don't, I'm more than satisfied with what we've been able to showcase so far. If anything, we also are showcasing that maybe the 24th mana could be okay, but I'm not convinced. I think 23 mana makes a lot of sense, and I'll have to double check, make sure it is 23 maybe. Oh, there we go. We got the Fatemaker, which I really wanted to see do more today too. I mean, I got all 4 of them in here. We go first, thank goodness. All right, we skipped the Pawpatch Recruit turn 1 because we have Veil in hand with it. Yeah, we don't want it to die to turn 1 Mountain because we'd cry ourselves to sleep very fast. Llanowar Elves, all right. Maybe this is our revenge versus mono green landfall. District Mascot's really good. Against landfall, I don't think they waste their time on a bushwhack early on. So we can totally dump our 1-drops now, right? I think so. Let's see what they ramp into here. Yeah, Sheltered by Ghost in hand. I'm feeling a little bit safe. Oh! Crap. I may have spoken too soon. The opponent has dropped a mountain, and now I'm scared. Oh, Tifa. Okay, so it's Gruul landfall instead. Okay. That could have been anything, guys. Llanowar Elves and Gruul. It could be like a bigger version of Gruul, but also Llanowar Elves and Gruul aggro. That wouldn't be unheard of at all. All right, we get to keep Veil open while playing the Sheltered by Ghost, which is really good. Yeah, we'll probably saddle up the mascot too. So I'm going to put my eggs into one basket here, I would say. Now, the extra ramp on the double Llanowar Elves is super scary, but... Alright, saddle up. That way they can't trade into the mascot with the elves. And then we still got Veil open for when it comes time. Stop like a bushwhack or something. It's good. This is anyone's game for sure. Bristly Bill still got 2 mana, guys. Oh. Alright. It's going to be a good turn for the opponent for sure. It's like they might go all into the Bill. Which they might as well with 2 mana open. That could be a Veil of their own. Alright, yep, all into the Bill. And that would be a really good trade for them. Maybe we could get a combat trick, but probably not. Because, yeah, Snakeskin Veil's a 4 of, right? Ooh. Yeah, still got 1 open, though. Third Llanowar Elves. Sheltered by Ghost off the top would be crazy. And lucky. Alright, another mascot. Nice. I think since we have 4 mana, so we keep Veil open. So we go like this, right? We warp out the Fatemaker. Now we get to see why the warp is actually pretty cool here. Because we can saddle with the Fatemaker. It's worth it, right? It's worth it. Even if they got the Veil, it's worth the trade, worth the life gain. Recast the mascot. Block could go over there, though. Probably not. We're going to save Recruit as an emergency chump blocker. They might just take the 5 guys, keep the Bill. They do. Alright. Down to 12. We go up to 28. Get the other District Mascot down. Still got Veil open. And Fatemaker can come in again next turn, giving us an extra counter. Another Tifa is pretty scary. Probably the reason they didn't accept the trade, because now when the land comes down, boosting the Tifa is going to be crazy business, as we know. I wonder what the mountain is in here for. I wonder what made them want to go Gruul, because we've seen Gruul landfall a few times, but we haven't seen why this specific opponent is in Gruul, right? So I think they might be missing mana here, guys. But also, if they are missing mana, they still got 4 mana open. So what's left in the opponent's hand that they don't want to play right now? Mana off the top could be good, so we could have Fatemaker and Veil open, but pretty much any top deck is good here. Woo! Like an Ouroboroid, for example, that might help us keep up pace. Now, if they're saving it all for one big turn with Tifa, we could still survive. Alright. We should definitely play the Ouroboroid. Yeah. Definitely. And then we can saddle up with one mascot. We probably have enough life gain, unless they really are just saving it all to pop off on one turn. They just swing with like a 70 power Tifa. If that's the case, we die anyways. So we might as well go for the swing. And even if this mascot dies, they already have a Tifa over there, so yep, totally fine. See what happens here. 7-6. They go for the chump. We go up to 35. And Fatemaker on the board would have given that trample, which would have been really good. All right, bring it on, opponent. Bring it on, buddy. Let's see it. I'm on the edge of my seat. A little scared by the lack of Veil open, but the Boroid was still a pretty good draw. Traveling Chocobo. Let's see what they see on top of the build here. It's going to be a Terramorphic Expanse, so that doubles twice. 2 counters to 3, then 3 to 9, 9 to... Wait a minute. I miscalculated somewhere. I don't know where, but now Tifa doubles to 24. No, 26. Aw, 56. Yeah, crap, dude, crap. All right. Now we're at 35, so had we kept everything back, we would have been at 28 still. We still would have died, right? And we would have had an extra 8 here to block. Yeah. We're at negative 15. Darn, guys. A second Sheltered by Ghost would have been pretty good. Pick up the second Tifa. That probably would have won us the game, honestly. But still, really good draws. It's a very tough deck list to beat. No matter what deck you're bringing to the table, you're going to have a hard time versus... I was going to say mono green landfall, but I guess technically landfall in general. We don't know what the opponent was splashing that red source in there for, but I don't know. What are you guys playing Gruul landfall? Let me know in the comments. What's the red for? There's probably a few different things that they could try. All right, guys, I got to go ahead and pause the recording real quick. All right, so here's the deck list again. Let's see, let's see. The double Terrasymbiosis didn't even feel necessary today, did it? As a matter of fact, it took away from some of the aggression of the build by not just having more ways to boost the already established creatures. So maybe like we could drop these successfully for a couple synchronized charges, and that would be a good budget trade up too. So yeah, something to consider. Terrasymbiosis didn't seem necessary. Maybe we could have like one of them and go up the third charge. It felt like in that control matchup, the Dimir mill, I guess it was, right? It felt like Terrasymbiosis was gonna come in handy, but we just pushed that aggro through so fast, and our lineup of 1-drops are beautiful, guys. Pawpatch Recruit, District Mascot, and Zack are just such a nice little pairing of 11 creatures in here. Really, really nice one drops. I think today we've seen, for this channel at least, District Mascot do more than I've ever seen District Mascot do. Usually, when I had the mascot in the build, it just kind of like, the extra +1/+1 counter only once each turn just wasn't enough. But watching it grow turn after turn today, it felt a little different, didn't it? Maybe it's just because it's a completely different standard as the last time I've played with mascot, but I liked this a lot. And that middle ability I brought up earlier, you can pay 1 in a green, remove 2 +1/+1 counters from this creature, destroy target artifact. That should come in handy versus synthesizer builds, because when you take away their repurposing bay, all of a sudden their engine just fizzles and they are relying on top decks. And then at that point too, you can start popping their actual synthesizers as well. And it shouldn't be too hard to get a couple counters on this and have a couple extra mana to want to actually pop their 3-drop artifacts. So also, the deck list should still struggle versus those synthesizer builds because of the 3-drop board wipe, but then mascot could maybe help you come back from that too by popping that at instant speed. What is that card called, guys? I still want to say temporary lockdown after all this time, but the artifact temporary lockdown, I totally know what it is, but yeah, temporary lockdown still fills my mind, I suppose. Anyways, guys, I still like the one of Defend the Rider. Even though we didn't get to see this today, I do think just having 5 pieces of protection is fine and dandy, but then plus Zack too, that's 8 pieces of early protection. Sheltered by Ghost with the Ward too. We'll count that as protection, right? There's a lot of ways to keep our powerful creatures on the board. Unlike Reluctant Role Model here, where it has at the beginning of your second main phase, if this creature is tapped, you put a flying, lifelink, or a +1/+1 counter on it. Then whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, put those counters on up to 1 target creature. So that's another way to kind of punish the opponent for having removal and stuff, but then also the survival working well with all the mount abilities in here between Tumblewagg and, of course, the District Mascot. But Bulwark Ox is also a mount creature. I don't like how I rearranged everything. Let's go back to this real quick. Okay, Bulwark Ox, another way to saddle, but also another way to protect our creatures too. So when it attacks while saddled, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, so not just this creature, right? Sacrifice this creature. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So yeah, lots of ways to protect our creatures, lots of ways to punish the opponent for targeting our creatures with like Recruit or popping our creatures. We have like Reluctant Role Model on the board and stuff too. Now, I do like the 4 Drix Fatemakers here on the top end. I think that middle ability is really good, actually. And I like that you can warp this out early on, then use it to saddle something up. And then later on, it comes down, you get the ETB counter again. And then you're giving all of your chunky creatures trample. I do like this. I like this a lot. And then the 2 of Ouroboroid. I was pretty excited when I got the 4th Ouroboroid. But honestly, just 2 of them in here, that makes sense. Another thing that could potentially make sense is if we do drop the Terrasymbiosis, I could see the 3rd Ouroboroid, right? And the 3rd Synchronized Charge instead of like just all 4 Synchronized Charge or something. So now personally, I think the deck list performed well enough for me not to change anything. So I'm not going to change anything. But how about the do not craft list? Also, guys, more testing required for sure. Yeah, how about the do not craft list? Probably I've been pretty much putting every deck list, regardless of how well it's performed for me, on the do not craft list. I do think most deck lists, in like the state of standard and how like explosive it is, I think most of the deck list should just be based on your collection, right? And save up those wild cards for a deck list that you're really, really passionate about. So here's the arrangement, guys. It is relatively expensive. That is a huge chunk of rares. And then outside of this deck list, where are those rares going to go? You might find some other really fun spots for Tumblewagg or something sometimes. You might find some fun spots for Mascot. Maybe those make it into the same spots. Outside of like Pawpatch Recruit, I would say everything's a pretty niche card. So yeah. Yeah, I always bring this up with Pawpatch Recruit. It was a well worthwhile craft for me. Very powerful 1-drop that belongs in a lot of different builds. So or it belongs in a lot of my different builds at the very least. And the mana base. So at 23 total mana, didn't feel like enough today. I'm just not convinced that it's a 24 mana deck list, guys. I'm just not. I think 23 should usually be fine. And as far as the Selesnya land goes, Starting Town and Hushwood Verge are fine enough, I suppose. I suppose, right? And it's not like an incredibly greedy deck list, too. So even just seeing a forest and a plains should be fine most of the time until you top deck something else. A couple Fabled Passages in the Restless Prairie didn't really slow us down at all. There were a couple turns where we had to prioritize Prairie on turn 1. Turn 3, Fable slowed us down just a little bit. Not really. I don't think those are going to slow down at all. The one thing I wouldn't do for this deck list in particular is have 4 Fable Passages, but again, you can base the mana on your collection as well, and it should be fine enough, I suppose. All right, guys. Also, don't forget this was a patron suggestion, so thank you so much again for the suggestion. That's one of the main reasons to actually join up the Patreon to get those suggestions prioritized. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I always have fun visiting forms of Selesnya aggro. I really love Selesnya counters. I love the mount theme going on in here a lot too. A lot of really neat and clean synergies. A lot of just beautiful ways to punish the opponents for targeting, which they do all the time, every game, right? Except for the landfall builds. Funny enough, they didn't. I guess they don't really rely on removal that much. That might be why we struggled against those today a little bit. We could maybe use some more removal if we continuously see those landfall builds, but be careful. The more removal you go up, the more you're going to run into that Snakeskin Veil from the opponent. That's one of the big things I was so scared of today, too. So, all right, guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far in, y'all are champions for real, and I super duper appreciate you. I will see you in the next video.